Hey guys, this is the Project Potato podcast, and welcome to episode 2. I'm Project EDM.
And I'm PotatoNetwork, and as a special guest tonight, we have Mewnlight Rose.
Hi.
So first things first is we're gonna do a new thing, I suppose, which is track / EP / album of the month, which is basically when we talk about quickly about a track or two or an EP or an album that was released within this month, and just say why we liked it. So for me, the track that I enjoyed of this month is "The Girl" by Hellberg. It was just I saw the preview in one of his videos he did for Monster Cat, and since listening to that, it's just blown me away, and it's been on repeat.
And for me, it has to be Horizons by Astronaut Arcade. And, it's because lately I've been listening to a lot of, 80s synthwave. So I just, searched for in SoundCloud for, 80s music, and it popped up. And I've been loving it ever since. I mean, it's really, really good.
My personal track of the month has been Find That Someone by Televisor, and the reason why I picked that one is because it pretty much came out the exact day that we kind of switched from winter to spring here. And it's an overall happy track that really fits how the weather changed and such, and basically my whole mood changed as well. So yeah, it came out at a perfect time for me.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the EP they released.
Oh yeah.
I want to hear the Split Bleed track they've got, because I've heard them with Virtual Wire and Pegboard Nerds, and they fit that sort of style, whereas Televisor's different to those two styles, and so it'd be interesting to hear how the vocals are used in that track.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking to hear that.
Me too. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that EP has already got a lot of hype.
Yeah. Isn't it released, it's next month, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in April as far as I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some reason I'm thinking the 16th, but I don't know if that's the date. I was hoping it was this month, because I really wanted to hear it, but oh well, gotta wait.
Yeah. We've got something for another podcast then.
Yeah. So yeah, now we're gonna go into an interview with Moon about some things.
And as the first question, we are going to ask you, who are you and where can we find you?
I'm Mewnlight Rose. I'm a producer who puts his music out on SoundCloud mostly. My SoundCloud is Mewnlight line Rose. I don't know.
All the links will be in the description of the videos anyway, so head down there to find him. Essentially.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with your artist name?
That's actually kind of interesting because this artist name is a very personal one. I'd say it's almost my internet name, you could say. It's come to exist through many different things have kind of shaped the name. It started off with just being Moonlight because I found that name in a fan fiction I once read, and I thought I really liked that name, so I picked that name. And with time, I started talking to people, and then I got into role-playing with some people in it, and I ended up in this role-playing family, the Rose family, so Mewnlight Rose suddenly. And then I figured, you know what? There are so many people on the internet already having the name Moonlight. Let's change things a little bit up. Let's make it sound like a cat. Mewnlight. And that's how I ended up with the weirdest produced name in all of history.
So far.
So far, at least, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a really interesting story about your name, and quite funny actually.
Yeah. it's something that has come to exist over a long time. So of course it's kind of quirky and all.
And then I'm going to ask you, for how long have you been producing?
I've been producing since like 2008 actually. That's well, not exactly producing like that, more like screwing around with musical programs and such since then. But I started, the whole Mewnlight Rose moniker and actually taking music seriously for I did that like 2-3 years back. So it's kind of twofold answer, I guess there.
So, what equipment do you use, and like software-wise, what do you use?
I use FL Studio to produce in. I've been using that all this time so far, and just recently I've gotten a new pair of monitors. I've been producing in these really crappy Logitech speakers all this time, but I've just got a new pair of KRK Rocket 6 actually. They're pronounced like that. And when it comes to software, I don't really use hardware that much or at all. I use stuff like Massive and Harmor and Contact and such. It's not really anything.
Yeah, I mean,
fancy.
it doesn't have to be fancy. If you know how to use your limited equipment, then you'll do just fine.
Although, if you do want to sound
Exactly.
like Virtual Wire, you could easily download his sample for, I think it's like 40 quid, something like that. So, that's an option, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't use samples that much. I usually create my own sounds and such. And if I use samples, I usually process them until they're, you can't even recognize them at all.
Yeah.
I at least try to. Sometimes they end up being like pathetic excuses of the samples they were before.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. No, I don't really have much else to say.
So recently you released an EP under Mewnlight Rose, and you also did a remix competition on the Monster Cat. Monster Cat.
No.
The Monster Kittens.
That would have been really awesome if I did, but
well.
no.
The Monster Kittens subreddit, where you had a load of people remix your track Vortex, which was the third one, I think, new EP.
No,
so how did that
one.
come about?
Actually, it's been something that I've been in contact with the moderators of that subreddit about for quite a while, Nar and such. I actually asked them like a few months back before the EP was released, and I didn't really pay much attention to it, which I kind of understand because no one really knew who I was at that point. But like just a few days before the EP was released, I contacted Nar again, and he was all up for it, and then I sent the stems and such, and then it all just came to be. Yeah, actually, it was supposed to be 3 winners, but like the third place ended up being a 3-way tie, so there's 5 winners now. Which is actually the first time that has happened for like that subreddit. Lots of new things happened during that remix competition. So yeah.
He was 3 winners. It's AstroSteps and Xanudai.
They forgot top place, yeah. Vectrex got the second one, and third one was a tie between 3 people.
So it's like a 5-way.
Don't tell me. Don't ask me who they were. It's not because I didn't personally pick them. They were picked by the subreddit, so I didn't really have much of a say in that. So yeah.
Yeah, because isn't it? You picked the first place winner
and the second place one, and then
and the second place, and the community picks the
yeah,
third
exactly,
place one.
and that's how all their
Yeah, so
contests, not contests, competitions end up being like.
and they do a monthly one. So if you guys want to ever check it out and enter, you could find that subreddit. I'll probably put a link down below in the description, and you could try your luck and see if you can win the competitions.
And yeah, what was the process with the Vortex remix like?
Yeah, it was an interesting process. It was at least much different from. It was pretty different from what I would actually expect it to be. A lot of people joined it, and a lot of people jumped off as well. Like some didn't get their remixes done in time, and some just didn't really make remixes at all. So I ended up with quite a different spectrum of remixes than what I'd expect. Which is also one of the reasons why I ended up being kind of. It was kind of difficult to actually pick a winner in the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I believe that.
off topic of your remix competition, what's your workflow like?
It's chaotic to say the least. Usually I have this kind of, I don't know if you would call it a unique workflow where like if I get an idea, I don't really jot it down instantly. I kind of, walk around with it and see and try to flesh it out inside my head and such. As far as I remember, the thing I call it kind of, I let it mutate, I guess. Let it go through different stages of I'm listening to this and I'm inspired by this, and then I'm listening to that and I'm inspired by that and such. And
I know what you mean.
yeah, and then when I've let it go through like many of those phases, I finally sit down and actually work on it. And inside FL Studio, it's kind of chaotic. Some days I'll work on drums, and some days I'll just focus on one synth, and some days I'll be like, you know what, fuck it, let's just go on with it, and then just end up making half the song and such.
Yeah, because I've seen like screenshots of FL and Ableton, and that stuff just like boggles me. Like I could easily make games.
No order in what I do. Like if you took a look at some of my FLPs right now, you would not know what anything does, and trust me.
Yeah.
Some days, on some good days, I know where some things are. But mostly I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, because I'm learning how to make games, and even doing that is fairly simple. I looked at Unreal, and that looks simple compared to what you guys have to do. And it just boggles me how you guys manage to, keep it all neat and tidy, even understand what's going on the screen. Just sort of boggles me.
Here's the secret.
I mean, you learn, in time. It takes time to learn, but I've been trying to keep my project at least somewhat organized, like group tracks and color them and just keep an so I have an idea on what I'm actually doing there, and so it's a whole lot easier when you know where stuff is.
That's probably something I should focus more on, because like I don't know where anything is ever in my tracks, and I have to listen through everything, but that's kind of where my inspiration comes from as well. Like sometimes I look at my projects and I see like there's a hole in that between several clips, and I'm like, maybe I could put something in there and such. And that's kind of actually where most of the details in my tracks come from.
Yeah. So, do you have any future projects coming up?
I've got tons, but I'm not really sure I can talk about a lot of them at all, sadly. I have there's a big project going on right now that involves a lot of producers, and it's going rather well so far. As far as I know, everyone's doing quite well with it, and it's gonna be out on time and everything. And I've also got some stuff going on with several other people. One producer whom blah blah blah. Sorry about that. One producer who I'd rather not talk about right now because he's going through a rebranding and such, and he'd rather keep this a secret. But
It's Tristram, isn't it?
you wish. You wish.
It's broken then.
Yeah, sure. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
And I've also got my first EP is actually not really like it's actually part one of a two-parter that I'm planning. Part two will be out at some point. I don't know. I haven't even started on it yet, but I know how it's going to sound, and I hope I'll get to do it. It's gonna be quite different. It's gonna be of a slower tempo, and I'm gonna be putting some dirtier elements into it, and kind of throw some of the melodic stuff away just for that EP. But yeah, I've got lots of stuff you can look forward to.
So final question. Do you have any tips for any new producers that may be listening?
You could come up with all cliches like follow your dreams and you might end up like me, a loser sitting in his bedroom talking to people through a podcast.
Thanks.
No, I'm the loser, not you guys. But a big tip I guess I can share right now is don't be afraid of, doing things that people might not hear right away. Most of the things that make me really like a track is like if you can listen to it again and again and you notice new things and such, things in the background. Like don't be afraid of hiding small details here and there in your tracks. Details are usually what makes a track stand out, and that's mostly what I'm focusing on right now, at least. Putting more details into my tracks. And sidechaining. Sidechaining is super important.
Yeah, I think like browsing through Twitter a lot of it's just like sort of experimenting and not being afraid of doing that. Like even the bigger names out there still do that, and although they get a lot of flack for it, it's still something they'll do. I mean, I remember when Pegboard Nerds released New Style and Bad Boy, a lot of people who listened to the old stuff just didn't like it, and like, I mean, I think wasn't it New Style first and then Bad Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and then Bring the Madness.
I mean, they still had a lot of flack from New Style, and then they're like, we're still gonna release this track, and then like, even then, people still hated on it. But for me, it just sort of I enjoy anything really. I have this sort of I would say it's kind of a problem really, but it's a habit of tapping along to music.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm tapping along to anything, that normally indicates it's a good track, and that's how I always decide if there's something if I'm checking out a submission, that's sort of how I do it. And I remember hearing your EP, and all the way through the bus journey of doing that was tapping away, and that was just like, as soon as I started doing that, I was like, yeah, this is definitely gonna go somewhere. It's gonna be a good EP.
Thanks. But yeah, I completely agree with that. You should not be afraid of experimenting, even if it's something that people might not instantly like. It just you taking those steps into a new direction that is more you and less, catering to your audience. That's something really important for being able to make this kind of stuff for long.
Yeah, and I also think like even if you're small enough and like starting out, that's sort of the period where it's, I suppose, the good time to be like experimenting, because you won't, like, although you may lose people from it, you could also really gain people from it, and it's not
I think I have fans from different scenes and such right now because
Yeah.
because I'm trying like 1,000
And I suppose
things
you
at
don't have
once.
that pressure of like losing fans or anything. Like if you're a big name and you try to experiment and then it goes horribly wrong, you could easily, that could be the end of your career in a sense.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're starting out, then it's sort of, I suppose, okay if it goes wrong because you could easily adapt to it and, you know, improve and like learn from it.
It's also pretty important for new producers to experiment because like you're new in this kind of stuff you make and you have to, you know, figure out what your sound is and such. I don't really think I've got a full grasp of what my sound is yet, but I'm trying 1,000 things at once to, you know, try to find out what exactly makes my tracks, you know, me and such. And that's super important for anyone who's working with this kind of music, I think.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and check out Mewn in the description below. Check out the remix competitions.
Now onto the remix.
And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.